beef?
I thought it was good, man.
Right.
Like, I've engaged and always involved myself in those situations, big. And I think it always made bigger excitement in our culture. Like, that type of thing would make a person buy the record twice.
Right.
It would make, like...
So you know how to use it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that, even me and Kanye, like, we got issues, but we were standing there like we was in a fight pose.
Yeah.
For the picture, you know what I mean? Like,
and that was the week, the first sales week.
Yeah.
And both of y'all sold.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, big, I could have went on tour with him if I wanted to combat that win.
Right.
Because I had so many records that were hit records at that point that I would have smacked. He only had that album.
Right. What do you think this is with Drake and Kendrick?
No, I think it's a point where you win repeatedly to the audience, and even the artist community is going, if you win again, how am I have my chance to win? So they would rather see Kendrick in that slot.
Right.
And Drake, you get out of here.
Damn. That's
really the way it goes. Like, we look, what he's saying, the system's done, they done it. They're guilty of what he said they did. Like, where I'm at Interscope, there are G-Unit and G-Unit at the same time.
Right. Gotcha. Wow.
On the same system, big. The same person delivering the record telling you to play 50 Cent is delivering the record saying play game.
Wow.
And it's just business. They're looking at it like it's business. It's selling the record. But everything that they said that he did, that they did for Kendrick, is something they did for him.
What did you say to Drake, if you don't mind my asking? Because you guys were somewhere, and it looked like y'all were having a conversation.
Yeah. I said, they said you lost to Pusha T. So what did you lose? And he said nothing. I said, so I don't understand.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, whenever you say you lost something, you say, what exactly did you lose? If you take a step back, there's nothing lost. There's nobody who's just a Drake fan that won't go out to see his show right now.
Man, we say that all the time.
Yeah, so it's just to be active. You get out there, do your thing.
How do you feel about beef in general?
I like it.
Yeah, I know.
We can tell. No, I'm saying I grew up under circumstances where it's not optional. It's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And then you go on, look, battling has always been a part of hip hop culture. If you're not competing, look, that is we hit a spot where business is so present that he looked at it and said, well, that's defamation of character because it's not true. It's a false statement. Right? And I'm like, you know how many false statements were in battle records?
Yeah. What did you feel about the lawsuit when you heard the lawsuit being announced?
I thought it was to combat
the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because that would reignite it. The song would make it exciting, make it go up again.
And months down the line too.
Yeah, but the suit itself, I don't think you think about it, but when the lawsuit comes out, it ignites the record. It goes up.
Right.
I didn't realize that his album was coming.
Right.
Kendrick's album was coming right when that lawsuit fell, and it was like,
yeah, there we go.
It spiked up anyway, so.
Is it different when we look at hip-hop?
The world of hip-hop is no stranger to controversy, but recent events involving Jay-Z and Diddy comms have escalated the drama to unprecedented heights. Rumors, allegations, and leaked information have set the internet on fire, with a prison call between the two icons at the heart of the chaos. With reputations, careers, and even freedom on the line, this gripping saga unfolds, weaving a tale of loyalty, survival, and betrayal.
Competitive, if there's a lawsuit there? From a beef though, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you beef with Fat Joe, Ja Rule, Buster. Have you ever got a lawsuit?
No.
Okay.
Not. You always get other stuff like behind the scenes stuff. You know what I mean? Like, but not public lawsuits and things like that. Like they've said, for me, mine was so street orientated that you're a rat.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And weird. That's defamation right there. But then the judge that you would be in front of would look and say, so you're like those criminals that I put away. Because you feel offended by someone calling you a rat. A traditional person, they're not in that lifestyle. Rat means yes.
Right.
911, their defense to you hitting them over there, you hit them. Come get this nigga. Hello? Come get him. Yeah. Don't act like you didn't do it.
Right.
Like that is no ratting for them. They're like, what? You better behave yourself.
Can you understand from a business part and a bigger scheme what this lawsuit is from Drake?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's because it does feel like when you're in negotiations, it'll feel like their volume went down. Like not as hot as you was last week when everybody was excited. And saying it feels different. Like, like they're saying you lost. Like you get a phone call, even like, yo, you guys created the largest sales week in hip hop. And I'm like, yeah, but I lost.
Right.
Get off my phone.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I get this call from Steve Berman. They run Interscope now. But they like at that point.
And this is when you and Kanye were going?
Yeah. You gotta get the call. You go, what did you? And get the fuck off.
Because when you look at it with the sales with you and Kanye, like y'all went on this whole who's gonna sell, and that first week Kanye did sell more.
Yeah.
But looking at the numbers, y'all won.
Yeah. No,
but you were like, nah.
From a consistent sales history, I have the sales history. Interscope didn't do everything Def Jam done for Kanye's number to come back like that. They assumed because they didn't do everything to protect Drake. Because they assumed Kendrick and this will be just like anything else that happened. Do you understand? Like they did everything he's saying they did in that lawsuit, they did it.
So you feel like it's valid on that point? Like, yeah, they did.
I understand why you would do that if you was talking to a lawyer, but like in hip hop,
right?
There's nothing to sue for. There's nothing that I didn't sue for that.
Is anything off boundaries when it comes to beef?
No.
Nothing's out of bounds?
Nah.
What about going to their home city and putting on a full concert? Like Kendrick's going to Toronto.
Imagine being Jay-Z, one of the most influential figures in music and business, a billionaire, a husband to Beyonce, and a father of 3. Then, out of nowhere, your name gets entangled in one of the most serious accusations imaginable. A lawsuit alleges involvement in a heinous crime, with Diddy also implicated. This isn't just another tabloid scandal. It's a situation that could change everything. And if the leaked prison call is any indication, Jay-Z's strategy for handling this crisis is far from ordinary.
To Jay-Z and Diddy. Now, we knew that Diddy was facing all sorts of criminal charges and tons of civil suits, and my God, like I can't even keep track of the number of things that have been alleged against Sean Combs or P. Diddy. But here he is in this picture with Jay-Z, who is also known as Beyonce's husband. And now Jay-Z's been dragged into one civil suit by one of the Diddy accusers. And this now 30-something-year-old woman, I think she's 37 now, who claims that she was 13 years old at the time this happened to her, has filed a lawsuit through this lawyer who's suing P. Diddy in many cases. Like, this guy's going to build a summer home based on what he hopes to recover in his lawsuits.
Or 3
yeah,
summer homes.
3. So he says that he's got this woman who, when she was 13 years old, she went to the VMA Awards in New York City, like by herself, looking to get in and meet celebrities. Not surprisingly, she says she couldn't get in. She says she decided to chat up the limo drivers waiting for the celebs outside, and that one of them said to her something to the effect of, "You look like Diddy's type." And that then she was brought back to Diddy's house after the VMA Awards at Rock Center in Manhattan in the year 2000. And that there she was raped. She was given something that made her feel drugged, a drink. And she was raped not only by Diddy, but also by Jay-Z. And that when Diddy then tried to come for her again that evening, she grabbed her clothes and ran out. And that her father picked her up at a gas station nearby the home. The father, and I presume she, lived 5 hours away in Rochester, New York. Now, unfortunately for this woman and her lawyer, this guy Busby, some inconsistencies have surfaced in the account. Most notably, the father comes out and says, "That never happened. I never went and picked her up at any post Diddy party. I think I remember that. I live 5 hours away. And that would seem to be a near insurmountable problem for Mr. Busby in this lawsuit, Mark, but you tell me.
Well, that's when you say inconsistencies, that's about as charitable as you can get. And by the way, I'm going to ask Alex Spiro next time he calls him a Busby, the 1-800 lawyer. I call him the 1-800 Diddy lawyer. I mean, he's out there with the billboards, he's filing things anonymously. And then it turns out when Alex was doing his press conference yesterday, that not only was the description of the house impossible, 20 minutes outside of Manhattan, but virtually everything else about this story was impossible, not to mention, as you said, the father. But this is not the first time that one of these things as to Diddy has fallen apart. I mean, Gloria Allred brought a case that ended up falling apart.
The leaked prison call reportedly unveils Jay-Z's cold and calculated approach to distancing himself from Diddy. The days of camaraderie and collaboration seem to be over. Jay-Z now appears to be focused on self-preservation above all else. Sources close to the situation suggest he's prepared to throw Diddy under the bus if it means safeguarding his own reputation and protecting his family.
I actually followed on one of the TV shows a lawyer who brought 3 cases against Diddy, and he said that 60 people had come to his office talking about Diddy, but the 57 of them were so ridiculous that he didn't take them. Well, that tells you 95% of the people making the claims don't even pass the smell test for a lawyer, yet he's going to take 3 or vice versa. I mean, this is really, at the end of the day, if you look at the Diddy case, and you know, there's almost a service that has been done by them expanding it to Jay-Z. Everybody says there's all these celebrities involved. Well, so far, everybody says any minute the tape's going to drop, the tapes are being shot, blah, blah, blah. The problem is that was in September. And now we're in December. Not one tape has been released that I have seen. No, not one other person who is an alleged victim has been identified. It's still a one accuser case that's being brought criminally. I think that a lot of this is totally overblown, and there isn't any indication. Everybody keeps talking about the Diddy parties. Where are the tapes of the Diddy parties where this is supposedly going on? Nobody's ever seen it. It's become like the Loch Ness Monster.
Mm.
And also, but Meg, let's talk about something historical that took place this week. And it's this case that you and I don't know how many stories we did on the original Pendle's court / Kelly's court. The young woman who she was young then, accused the Duke lacrosse players of raping
Crystal
her,
Mangum
has now come out and said, yeah, I made the whole thing up, which is horrible as what she did was. Horrible. She's actually just committed like a little bit of a public service to show like people do make these things up. Everyone's like, oh, make this up out of whole cloth. Oh, it just creates such a story. It never happens. Yeah, actually does happen. Did happen. Those 4 kids' lives were ruined. Their families ruined, financially wiped out. A DA was brought to his knees out there. It was just, a despicable situation that happened. And now, I don't even know, almost 20 years later, she admits, yeah, I made the whole thing up. And this girl with the Jay-Z thing, I mean, her own father, yeah, I think I would remember if I drove 5 hours to pick up my daughter from a nightclub. But for Jay-Z, I agree with Mark that he did perform somewhat of a public service when his name came out, and he fought. He said, look, I feel bad for my kids. I feel bad they're going to have to hear about this, but I am not going to be extorted. I'm not giving a penny. I know I didn't do that. And I'll tell you, and Mark and I have represented these kinds of people, it is often a lot easier for them to fill out a 3-page document, a non-disclosure agreement, write out a check for an amount of money that's not going to change their quality of life, just make it go away. He probably could have done that here, but he didn't, and good for him.
Yeah, no, Jay-Z is denying it in the strongest terms, and he's responding to this.
Stay tuned with latest updates.